thing no one tells you about consistency. The people who struggle most with consistency are usually the most responsible ones, the most capable ones, the ones who care deeply about their work. So if you keep starting strong and then quietly disappearing, this is not a discipline problem. It's a design problem. What do I mean by design? Today I will share a framework I use with my private clients to solve it. And you can use it too. But before we get into that, let's talk about the lie about consistency. What do you know about consistency? Let's just pause and ask yourself, what does consistency mean to you? Somewhere in the online world, consistency became synonymous with intensity. Post daily, be visible constantly, never slow down, never disappear. And underneath that advice is fear. If you rest, you fall behind. If you pause, you lose relevance. If you slow down, someone else replaces you. But fear-based consistency always collapses because intensity is not sustainable, and sustainability is the real currency of personal branding. Here's what happens to high-capacity professionals. You decide to take your brand seriously. You design a powerful content calendar, 3 posts per week, weekly video, strategic visibility. For 2 or 3 weeks, momentum builds. Then life happens. Work intensifies, energy drops, family needs attention, or your nervous system simply says, slow down. I hear this a lot, so I can totally relate to this. Suddenly, the strategy feels heavy. You miss one post, then another, then silence. And here's the invisible cost. You break trust with yourself. And personal branding without self-trust feels unstable. Your audience senses that instability. Not consciously, but energetically. Let's get into the sustainable consistency framework. You ready? Let's get into it. I'm going to draw 3 circles and then we will talk about it on my notebook. 3 circles are capacity, alignment, and visibility. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna start with the pink one, of course. Good way. So here we go, the first one.
The second one. And the third one.
Okay, now the sunshine comes. Welcome. We welcome it to the framework. Okay. I hope that doesn't bother you because I'm not gonna go and fix that, so let's just roll with this. Maybe I can move it to the middle, if that's better. We'll see. First circle is capacity. Second one is alignment. The third one is visibility. So what does each one mean? And what is in the middle? So let's just go each one. I'm gonna use my gold pen for this. So capacity has time. It has energy. It also has your emotional state. And it has life. You know, life happens. So it is in your capacity. Alignment, your values. your authentic voice, your integrity, and it has your nervous system safety. I'm gonna write this way so it's in the circle. This might confuses you with the emotional bandwidth here, but this one is about how you feel about what you do. If you feel good about it, your body, if you know about kinesiology, this is mostly about that. If you feel like doing it, if it's aligned with you, that's what it is. Emotional bandwidth over here is your capacity to hold on each emotions. That's what it is. So I'm gonna finish drawing it and then we will talk each one a bit more detailed. And when it comes to visibility, we have your content strategy, your posting schedule. What did I do here? Schedule and your audience growth. Okay, this is it. And of course, what we have in the middle here is sustainable consistency, which means where capacity, alignment, and visibility meet. So in the middle of it is your sustainable consistency. So let's talk about each one. Circle 1 is your capacity. Capacity is your real life energy. Not your best week, not your motivated week, your average week. It includes time, energy, emotional bandwidth, and current season of life. Life happens and what's going on in that moment affects your capacity. If your strategy ignores capacity, collapse is inevitable. Circle 2, alignment. Alignment is internal coherence. It includes your values, your authentic voice, integrity, and nervous system safety. If your content feels performative, alignment is broken. If you feel like you're acting instead of expressing, alignment is broken. Consistency without alignment is self-betrayal. Circle 3, visibility. Visibility is what everyone focuses on. Frequency, posting schedule, platform growth, marketing output. Visibility is important. But visibility without capacity and alignment creates burnout. And I've experienced this zillions of times. I am still learning, and if you're with me, if you're a go-getter, if you don't listen to your body, don't take care of your body, and myself included, I am still working on this. I'm still working on not acting in a way that I need to be there all the time and not forgetting about this and this. Now let's pay attention to the middle of it. Sustainable consistency. This is where growth compounds. Not dramatically, not chaotically, but steadily. Now I want to share the strategic error most people make. Then they try to stretch capacity to match it. And they ignore alignment completely. The order looks like this: visibility, pressure, collapse. But the correct order is different. Capacity, alignment, and visibility. That's why I always tell my clients, does this feel good to you? Does this feel like an achievable goal? Do you think you can do this consistently? Which means, do you think you will be able to do this every week, every month, when you think of your capacity, all the things in there, time, energy, sicknesses, family, life, and alignment? Maybe there will be a season you won't feel like that. How can we set a goal and make your strategy consistent among all these things? First, define what you can sustain during a stressful month. Second, make sure it reflects who you truly are. And design visibility around that. That is adult strategy. That is leadership. That is authenticity. I mentioned a little bit, but there were moments in my journey when I increased output to accelerate growth. More content, more expansion, more visibility. Growth did increase, but internally something felt unstable. And I asked myself a question that changed everything. What can I sustain even when life feels heavy? You might not find an answer to this until you experience that heaviness, which was my experience, but it's okay. You can experience it, you can learn from it, and then you can come up with a strategy about it. That question protected my nervous system. And when your nervous system feels safe, your creativity cooperates. When creativity cooperates, consistency becomes natural. And here's the deep truth. Consistency is not output discipline. It is alignment repeated over time. Let me say that again. Consistency is not output alignment. Consistency is not output discipline. When you build visibility that honors your limits, you do not disappear. You adjust. You bend. But you remain. And remaining builds trust. And people don't trust intensity. They trust steadiness. They trust leaders whose energy feels regulated, whose message feels coherent, whose presence feels safe. Trust does not grow in chaos. It grows in rhythm. And rhythm requires self-respect. And the sun shines in. Personal brand essentials. We talked about consistency. And with this series, we are building internal architecture, not tactics. Because tactics can be forgotten, can be not applied. We are building you. We are building your authentic brand and life so that it is you, it is your lifestyle, so you don't have to have tactics or things you need to act on. And how is that? While we're talking about building something, there is the construction just started happening outside, right on time. If this resonated with you, I invite you to reflect on one question. Where have I confused intensity with consistency? And what would it look like to build it from alignment? And remember, you do not build a powerful brand by pushing harder. You build it by staying aligned long enough for trust to compound. And if you missed last week's episode, Personal Brand Essentials Week 3, we talked about identity. You can watch it here.